Hello and welcome to yet another cast. For you today I have a 44 Blade on the Matchmaker on the map of Odda. Never seen this map before actually, and also never played it instantly with that. But yeah, let's see how this turns out. Let's see the dynamics that would evolve on this map. And let's start with player introductions. We have Team 1 up here on the north, Team 2 down here on the south, as always, and let's start with the easternmost position for Team 1 up on the top. We have Supreme AJ going Cybran and opening first land in blue. Then to the west of that, in dark blue, we have Comrade Benno going Aeon and opening first land as well. And to the west of that, in purple, we have Funk Off going Seraphim, opening first land. And to the south of that, we have Maxus PL, I think. I'm just gonna call them Maxus in Zion, opening first air, going Cybran. Zion Cybran. Now, for the southern team, on their westernmost position, we have Banan 2 going Cybran and opening first land as red. I think I already pointed out that they were red, but just to be sure. Then to the east of that, in Burgundy red, going Aeon and opening first land, we have Fletcher. Would expect them to go UEF with that name like that, but well, who am I to judge? Maybe Fletcher thought about his crimes against the other factions in that last campaign mission and turned over and decided that maybe he should instead join the Aeon or something. I don't know. Anyway, to the east of that, we have Senhawks going Cybran as orange, opening first land and second air. And then to the north of that, in this piss yellow, we have Nickert also going Cybran and also opening first land. Right, that's every player introduced. Rating wise, we're looking at a rating range from the 900s into the high 1200s, with Supreme AJ being almost 1300. Let's just say that they are a 1300 in our heart because they are at 1299. So basically as close as you can get without actually having that rating. Also, if I have occasional breaks, sorry about that, I am just gonna take occasional sip because, as always for these casts apparently, I seem to just have a sore throat. Or slightly sore throat, so yeah, I will have to take, I will drink something occasionally and also occasionally need to cough a bit. And also after already having casted for an hour just before this one, it hasn't gotten that much better. But yes, let's see. ACUs for both Maxus and Nickert have moved across this small waterline right here, right into the island that is occupied by the isolated player on the which would be Supreme AJ on this side and Banan on this side. Currently in the process of just moving up there, getting up some factories for spam production and being a major nuisance for the players on the that have their bases right here. Now, about the map, not a lot of reclaim looking at it. There is some dotted around the edge of the map on the mountain ranges, but those seem to be small amounts of rocks, not too much. In the whole map, I think it's probably something like something in the small thousands for reclaim, which for a 20k map isn't that much. Now, The Naked has killed off some, has just killed off some spam. I think that was just one mantis with that ACU, as Stream AJ has already produced mass production of spam, currently producing out of 5 factories. In the main spam factory for Naked currently still going up, the first factory of that. But there's now also some stuff going up here for Sandhawks, who did get an early transport and did claim this side island, and will probably move over as soon as they establish their base there to support that. Similar thing currently going on for Nexus, who has claimed this side island. So both teams pretty equal on the spots they have occupied. But by the looks of it, the spam production for Banana has been started later than by Supreme AJ, and thus Nexus was able to actually throw up a few more factories for that. Though the ACU of Funk Off is now also moving up into that area, which will be annoying to deal with, having 2 ACUs to deal with on that side. Though saying that, there's also the ACU of Sandhawks currently moving up and through this passage right here, through this strait. That's what you call it, strait. I sometimes have issues remembering the proper words for that stuff. Partially because it's words you don't use that often, partially also because it's just words that, also partially because I'm just not a native English speaker. So it happens. But transport also, just with a few energies skewed up to just move up here. Just to get some harassing energies into the general area. And some spam production up back in the, or in the back line of the of Supreme AJ's stuff. The transport did get shut down, however not before it got its engineers dropped. But there are now already mantis moving out to deal with these energies just to kill them. And let's see, will this factory actually finish? Yes, I think the factory will actually finish. It did. Though it isn't building anything, and the spam will probably just take that out very quickly. Now, gun going up for Supreme AJ. Currently no upgrade for Nickert. Or Sandhawks. Never mind, Nickert is also going for gun. Supreme AJ hiding in this pond right here. Though they are just sticking out of that. Meantime, in the south here, any command upgrades? Yes, there is a gun just finished for Banana. So they have something to help against these 2 commanders. But I think that the gun upgrade for Supreme AJ will finish first. And with that and their superior spam numbers, they will probably be able to force a cancel on Nickard. As they are currently still just about halfway done with theirs. And Supreme AJ currently not pushing out, so maybe I'm mistaken on that. And the ACU of Sandhawks is also pushing in, and never mind, the ACU for Supreme AJ is pushing out with that gun upgrade. And it will pour in a lot of damage into the ACU of Nickert, who no longer has any supporting build power, as the Mantis burn required to be pulled off. 70% finished with the upgrade. Cancelling that now will be very painful, cancelling a 72% gun upgrade. But it was necessary as they were facing up against Guncom. Though same goes for Zenhox, who is now face to face with that gun commander. And will probably not get away from that. I think that Supreme Agent will probably just be able to walk them down. especially with that army that ACU is just shredding HP. Down below 5k, below 4k, below 3k, yeah, the ACU is dead, below 2k, below 1k, and boom. But Nikat seems to be facing the same. The ACU for Supreme AJ did go into the yellow, though the one for Nikat now did go into the red, below 2k, and below 1k, and dead. Though the explosion did put Supreme AJ into the red as well, but without any units to capitalize on that, that's not too important. Let's see what's going here. Banana also pushing out with that commander. Gun upgrade out for Funk Off. And for Maxis. So the situation is looking very uneven. The Northern team is seeming to be ahead on the whole map control thing. Fletcher has moved their commander onto the side island, just taking that out. But with the presence of a gun commander right here against no ACUs now, and a gun commander against a gun commander with T2 and normal commander, I don't think that Banana will be able to have a equal action to the maneuver that Supreme AJ just pulled off. Though saying that, the gun commander for Funk Off is still taking quite a pounding. Even though it does have T2 and does a very much higher HP pool, but it is down into the red. And looking at this, yes, it does actually go down. So I guess I was mistaken. Funk Off does go down, so instead of a 2v4 we are now seeing a 2v3, which is only slightly better. But it is still better. Now, we didn't talk much about the Navy. Let's see, T2 Navy is out for Comrade Benno. And that seems to be the only player on the Northern team currently building T2 Navy. And it's also out for Fletcher, who is currently just mass producing some extras with that, though they have accidentally queued up all their... I do know that from watching the replay. I do remember that, yes, all of these factories are accidentally queued up to be HQs. A slight waste of mass. Not only a slight waste of mass, because HQs are freaking expensive. Also, I don't know why I say freaking instead of fucking, because I think I'm far enough in the video where there's no difference, and I don't think anyone here in this community would actually care. Like, I think the majority of this subcom community is in the vast majority of the subcom community is in the HQ group, where they really don't care about the choice of words like that. At least basically everyone watching my videos, if the information given is accurate. Which I'm just gonna naively assume. Anyway, back to the game. We have a T3 Air HQ currently 50% finished for Fletcher on the Cyprian HQ, of the Cyprian variety. Let's see, T3 Air has been finished for Supreme AJ. Right here in the Seraphim base. And that seems to be it. There is T2 land out for Comrade Banners, so we might see some hover spam with that. And they are currently also proving to be a major pain, just having very large amounts of T2 subs and also T1 subs. That, while not being perfect in dealing with the while not being ideal in dealing with destroyers, is still proving very effective just due to the high number and being immune to the main guns of the destroyers. Fletcher now completely evicted from this position, giving this entire island into the control of Supreme AJ. Though there are some Spectres out that were trying to raid. Not sure if they did too much with that, I don't think they did. Fletcher having some very choice words about that. And how's the whole operation looking? Let's look at eco. Ecos for both teams currently very even. Max's lowest eco at just about 46. Highest eco are both Supreme AJ and Fletcher at the same ecos, 563. You would expect Fletcher to have a slightly higher eco since they are sitting on triple base. But I guess there's also just the variation from the slots that they are controlling, with Supreme AJ having control over this entire side island right now, which I suspect has more eco. And after that, the highest eco would be Banan at 133, which does add up for the ecos of both teams. Now, Banan was also capable of completely evicting Maxis from their island, forcing that stuff off. Though I think they were a bit slower on that than Supreme AJ, and also the fact that the space does still exist. There is no T2 air out for Nexus, so that's something to be aware of. And we have some T2 Navy now out from Banan as well, though, that will be able to bombard some of the stuff that might be appearing and cause some notable damage. And in the meantime, in the Middle Navy, we see Fletcher just using top bombers to completely dispatch the submarines out from Comrade Banner. The one major weakness of the submarines is that they have no AA firepower, and thus are easily countered with top bombers. Now, with Comrade Banner playing as a Aeon, there are some easy solutions to that, like just the Hammer Flag, or cruisers that every faction has access to. But whatever floats the boat. Now, let's see, is there anything noteworthy building up here? Currently does not look like it. Though right here we see a Salem now firing onto the island of Banan. That's very, very unfortunate to see, as that does deny some eco. Fletcher pointing out that without AJ would be an easy win, and well, something that I have to agree on is that AJ is currently playing amazingly, by the looks of it, or by everything that I have noticed. Also building up a whole army of transports, I guess to get a foothold on this side. Just getting up all these transports. And just mass exodus out from Fletcher, killing off the few frigates right here that were harassing stuff out from Maxis, or General T1 Navy, as there is also a submarine in there. Let's see, Supreme AJ does have, I think those were Cypher and ASF. No, that I was just confused by the Cypher symbol. No, those are Seraphim ASF. Okay, was confused for a moment because they did have Seraphim T3 air. I was aware of that, but I didn't think that they went for Cyber and T3 Air, and that assumption was correct, as they didn't. Now, the game is slowing down a bit. We see the Salem now slightly pushing up on land. And due to land slightly slowing down and not much going on, let's move up to +5 speed for a moment. So that stuff does move on a bit. See something, and here is the events that the events unfolding that I was hoping to be unfolding at some point. All these transport that Supreme AJ built up are now being utilized to just transport a large amount of spam onto the side island. Or not on the side island, onto the island of Fletcher. And those are put on a ferry command. So the units here are just set to use this ferry point, so they will all just move over, and with that, the entire army that was originally used to regain full control of Supreme AJ's island are now being used to also harass the island of Fletcher. And that also seems to be a very effective and very successful strategy right now, as that is taking out Nati and the base that once belonged to Nickett, I believe. Leaving Fletcher with only 2 bases now. And even more units moving over. Are there engineers in here? Not yet. Though I suspect that those won't be far behind. And lots of... Right, all these factories now also set, I think, to just support that. At least they were a moment ago, they seem to be supported onto the transport beacon, meaning that all the units coming out from that will just automatically enter the transport and fly over. A very nice feature that you can just automatically ferry factories, units out of the factory onto the other side of the map by using that ferry command. And yeah, making it very easy to constantly reinforce armies on very far away positions, just transporting over that shit. Now, what we have here are actually some Wagners which are moving into the water. Fancy thing about the Wagner is that it is a submergible unit. Unlike the naval tanks for all other factions which are hover, the Wagner is a submergible naval tank. Not the traditional kind of amphibious that is floating at the top of the sea, but just waterproof and driving at the bottom of it. And it actually has some torpedoes. But those can easily be used to just raid anything due to being submergible and thus also being able to operate underwater. Now, naval fight going on up here. We see a whole bunch of Exodus destroyers fighting against other Exodus and some Trident class frigates. And they seem to be completely devastating those. In the back here we have some Salems and Sirens that are also moving up for Banat, that are now focusing down the Aeon Navy, though forced to pull back due to having an inferior number of units. And by the looks of it, Wagner is also being used by Banan to just get onto the other side of the pond. I don't think those actually firing their torps. Oh, never mind, there are torps coming out against this Trident right now. So they are definitely firing their torps. Also firing torps into these into those engineers. With most of these factories now just going down to the combination of Navy and these torpedo tanks, which are now starting to make landfall and firing into the general staff of Nexus, which will put a somewhat equalizing effect onto the game with if Nexus is forced out of their base, since that way the as that is the base that the Southern team is currently missing, due to that being occupied by Supreme AJ on the mirror slot. And more and more of these Wagners are making landfall, though there are now these extras moving in, which are pouring in some damage with their depth charges against these depth charges and their torpedoes against these Wagners. But they are still landing. There are T2 Maxes here and I think those T2 Maxes will actually go down, just like the T2 Power. Honestly, those could probably even get the AC of Maxis Pi, or Maxis PL, Maxis. Let's just stick with Maxis again. But yeah, these T2 Maxes are just being completely decimated now. And the Navy for Comrade Banner is just pulling back, as I guess they no longer see any point in trying to defend. And also due to having these forces right in their back, which is something you never want to have. You never want to have units in the back right behind yours, or enemy units behind yours. That usually does not go well. Small effort going on here, though. That, well, I was about to say that might actually go in favor of Fletcher, but no, it didn't. Supreme AJ did start to micro them those ASF properly again, though the ASF of Fletcher were able to stay right behind the ASF of Supreme AJ for quite some time, for a very extended period. But it has changed. Now, Wagner's dropped into the water right here with more transports just ferrying units over. Would honestly love to see some T2 transports used for that, to have some higher capacity. And also some slightly higher speed, and I completely missed it, but Maxis just went down, I guess, to the units of Benin, to those Wagners. In my opinion, Wagners completely underused units, and I love the fact that they are used in large numbers in this game. But whenever you are looking at a situation like this where you have a pond separating your main base and the enemy main base, Wagners are really, really nice for raiding, since they can just cross the water. And apparently there was a transport or maybe run by of some Wagners right here in the back. Again, reinforcing what I just mentioned about them being really, really decent as some raiding units, just getting in the back of here. And though there is now a Spectre moving in to deal with those. And just taking those out. And a sizable army right here massing for Supreme AJ. I was about to say that will maybe push, but I don't think it will, considering the fire basing going on here. That probably makes pushing a very bad idea. So the best solution for that would probably be to use the Wagners and go past the fire base into the accurate. And I think that could actually work out. But yeah, transports continue to be used. More stuff being ferried over. Love to see it, love to see it, and we actually do have some factories right here now that are also producing some spam on that island specifically. Though we also have more Wagners now out here for Banan on the complete opposite side of the map that are now also pushing forward, taking out Maxes. Though there are now some T1 bombers and some top bombers hitting those, top bombers being able to just strike those due to Wagners passing through strips of water. But most of the torpedoes actually just hitting the ground, so not being too effective. Now, there are some Obsidians, and Wagners aren't too great in trading with Obsidians due to their comparatively small HP pool. And, well, okay, was supposed to say they're a small amount of firepower, but I think the firepower is about even. I think the major difference is actually the HP pool. Is there any standard T2 right here that could look at? Well, okay, there are these Obsidians which have 15k in shields and another 12k in no HP, so yeah, that is a major difference. Now, a whole bunch of Exodus moving out for Fletcher, maybe trying to bombard this bay area. Anything right here. Though there is a whole bunch of T1 bombers and of course all these Wagners are moving in. And while the torpedoes on the Wagner aren't that great, in large numbers, as with any unit, they can just stack up a whole bunch of damage. Though, I mean, the anti-submerged and anti-submarine capabilities of the Exodus aren't to be underestimated. But with all these T1 bombers, those Exodus will still go down rather quickly, since your Navy does not have any AA except on dedicated AA ships like cruisers, aircraft carriers, and the Shard. So yeah, you can just see those being completely devastated. There's a lot of reclaim in the pond here. Would love to see a Supreme AJ to start putting some reclaim engines into the general area. And I could have almost completely missed it, but Fletcher just built a Monkey Lord right here in this air grid. Now, this force is almost completely... Well, the force on land is basically completely T1, with some Wagners in there. So that would just be completely mopped up by that monkey. And the forces down here are also only T2, so if they move into reinforced, those aren't going to do too much either. That could be a major issue for the current undertaking of Supreme AJ. In the middle, major naval engagement now going on between Banan and Supreme AJ, with some support coming out from Comrade Benno now, with some support pushing in. And a whole bunch of top bombers out from Supreme AJ, though those are quickly just completely crushed by all these cruisers. There's actually a battleship out already. Almost missed that. That will be very deadly at providing some long-range firepower into that opposing navy. Just crushing that. And let's see, is there T3 Navy out here? That HQ is currently still in the process of going T3 at 70%. So no, there's no T3 Navy. And no T3 Navy here as of yet either. Now on this side the Monkey Lord has started pushing. Has taken out 25 units, so those were only T1 and does not too much damage. Is moving into the water, which I wouldn't recommend against these Wagners, to be honest. and thus decides to turn around again and face off this massive Team 1 army, which isn't as massive in when facing against a experimental. Even the Monkey Lord with its low HP pool and low range will be very, very good at just taking out this just wiping this complete army and just forming Veteran C. I mean, partially due to being able to just retarget very, very quickly with that beam weapon. I'm saying that it is currently stuck on one position, as it sometimes happens, especially when the unit is turning, as problem you see with that is that you are basically turning against the beam, or against the turret, which has a fixed turning rate. But already 126 units killed by the Monkey Lord, though only around 6k mass killed. Again, those are basically all T1s, so not too surprising that there's not too much going on. Flank of the Fletcher having a friendly conversation. Flank of being pissed off that their navy isn't going too well, and maybe that things would be going differently if Flank of didn't die as stupidly. That's generally how things go, that when players don't die, the team tends to win. Like, not losing players is generally advantageous. So, not sure why Funk Off needed to point that out. But oh well. And I know that there are exceptions where teams not losing players are actually where teams losing players may be better off if the player they lose is a very, very bad player. But that's not the general situation, so I'm not gonna count that. And Monkey Lord now having a whopping 328 units killed, with 16k completely off of T1 units, and thus vetting once. No, correction, 17k. But with that, the complete side area is now cleaned up. There are some Wagners right here that are maybe trying to get ready to stage a run-by assault, though those are currently just being mopped up by Top Bombers and Exodus, which are just slowly whittling away at those with their superior top range. And the Monkey Lord is dipping its toes into the water to get to the opposing side of the navy. There are, however, a whole bunch of Wagners waiting right here. Though saying that there's also a sizable force of gunships that are ready to be a pain. Put it like that. Screamer AJ's commander still right here in the water with stealth now. But that gunship force will probably... well, it will definitely weaken some of the stuff that is in that area. Monkey Lord taking quite a bit of fire from all these Wagners. Just shedding HP to all these torpedoes. Though it's about to reach land and thus will probably be able to just regen, get some veteran C, stuff like that. Especially due to being able to use its laser against the defending units. Since the monkey torpedoes aren't really that great. They don't tend... I mean, they do exist, but they don't tend to do too much damage. Second rank of veterancy now up on the Monkey Lord at around 25k mass cut. It did go down into the red at below 10k HP now. No, it is about to get another rank of veterancy, I think. And it has a whole bunch of regen, 6 regen currently, and yes, it just vetted again. And now at 10k HP. Moving up towards the AC of Supreme AJ. And 11k, yep, that thing is quite tanky. That might take out the ACU. And it's getting close. The Supreme AJ moving in, maybe to try and overcharge that. Very risky. It's getting in, and one well-placed overcharge, and that monkey does go down. I tend to forget how much damage you can do with overcharges. How much E-storage are we looking at? 2. That can't be right. 2k's EM's nowhere near enough to overcharge like that. Right, I think it's 5. Oh holy, no, a lot more than that, yeah. Yeah, no surprise that that did go like that. But Navy continuing to be a complete slugfest in the middle. There are no battleships out for Comrade Benno, though there is still a far superior number of galaxies out for Banan. And those seem to be just trailing the Navy now. Though there is now also Tier 3 Navy out for Supreme AJ right here. And let's see. Yeah, I don't think we will have... well, I think that Navy will probably go very evenly. And counter push coming out here in the north by Comrade Benno with a whole bunch of Obsidians. Those just firing right into the Cerberus turrets that were thrown up as defenses. The engineers were all taken out. And I think that PD will probably just die now, because Obsidians are very tanky. Very tanky. And though the regen on that shield is pretty pitiful, with just 2. Like, if you need that shield to actually regen, you're probably better off just disabling and re-enabling it. Just cycling the shield to get that to get the recharge bonus you get from enabling a disabled shield. Shield cycling is a pretty powerful ability. It is pretty strong. But it, as already pointed out, it requires a lot of micro, and thus isn't always useful. Let's see what's going on. We have Sekus out from Banan, currently being loaded into transports, I guess, to be, for reclaim purposes. And there's something suspicious looking queued up by Fletcher, though I don't think there will actually be an arty going up there. No, I don't think it will. Let's see how much arty can actually reach. Yeah, it couldn't reach most of the map from there. So fair enough. That's probably just the expansion of the Aquat. Now let's take a look at economies. We are looking at 994 Team 2 against 768, so Team 2 currently around 200 mass ahead. That's a massive advantage for them. I guess those Sekus are being a major factor in that right now. And also the fact that this island is still being contested, just like this one. Or something like that, I don't know. But new push coming out from Supreme AJ on this side with more Wagners. Currently just riding in, taking out a few Maxes. But they have to be careful that they don't get too close or they will be shrouded by that Cerberus PD fire. Saying that they are already under fire from these Gunters. And here we have the Cerberus tickling the tanks just to death. The Cerberus might be called the tickle gun, but well, it is tickling very hard, looking at those HP pools. And yeah, I think that is enough to just take out the spare Revenant out from Fletcher. That was trying to use defensively, but accidentally taking out all the wall sections. I don't think that was intentional. Not a friendly fire from that. But those could be a major threat for Northern team as... well, let's see. I think ground firing that could probably kill Scream AJ, as that commander is not very deep. I think Comrade Benno is still safe, but those could also just take out a whole bunch of other eco structures, so nothing to be taken too lightly. We have a Tempest almost finished out for Comrade Benno, I guess to help counter the all these galaxies. The Tempest having one of the highest ranges of all battleships, the only battleship with the same range being the Summit, though that is to be expected from an experimental battleship. It's basically a floating fortress. Though the DPS from that main gun is pretty abysmal, with the fire rate being very low. Though it does have some very good torpedoes, and a really good factory in the back. So in conclusion, Tempest, when staying at range, is pretty powerful, and it has some stuff to deal with close-in targets. But I don't think it's going to be enough against all these battleships. Well, saying that, I think I'm mistaken because I didn't take into consideration that there's also a that there's also a honestly pretty sizable amount of battleships out from the Northern team right now. The Strike Bomber is currently still just sitting here, waiting for orders. And more monkeys thrown up by Fletcher. And yeah, currently I think Fletcher now just going up for the air wipe with their Air Force, looking at their aggressive move in. Right over a whole bunch of Tracer T1AAs, though the DPS of that isn't too great, and also the T1A generally struggles with tracking the fast-moving T3 air units. Thus not actually hitting. But Fletcher needs to remember to keep that ship moving and not land it, because that could be painful. And the flag will actually deal some damage due to the ASF forming a massive cloud. But still, that was enough for a basically complete air wipe of from this other team. Fletcher finishes a monkey and has queued up a donut, a SAR. And the Navy also now seems to be going into the, seems to be slowly moving to the north. So it seems to be slowly won by the southern team. Saying that there are again top bombers coming in, but there is still a lot of cruisers just defending against that. And with that, I don't think that will do too much. Auto flag fire, and yeah, there is this Navy push. There are some places right here. Was confused about that firing zone, but no, those are actually those are places that are just being used as hover spam. We have something in the Navy. The second Tempest has been finished, though those will probably struggle against all the Salems and the closing battleships. Since the torpedoes are pretty decent, yes. However, the torpedoes aren't really good solution in dealing with destroyers. One Tempest does go down. Battleships retarget onto the next one, and with that number of battleships, I don't think that this Tempest is going for this world. And though there are some asylums moving in that are soaking up some of the damage. But Tempest already down below half health. I don't think it will survive this, no. It is about to go down. And there it goes. And those Tempests did not prove to be very effective. Now Monkey out from Fletcher, just moving on here, right here along the side. And there are some bricks, which also can move through the water, so those could be very dangerous, as bricks are very good at just walking through fire bases, having a whopping 7,500 HP, which is significant, which is almost 7 times, well, I'd say around 6 times the HP pool of a Wagner. Yeah, doing the math, I think it's around 6 times the HP pool of a Wagner, slightly more. But still, those will be able to probably break this. Well, yeah, those might be able to actually break this firebase. Or this, I wouldn't even call it proper firebase, just this fire front. That reinforced front line. Now the Tempest has finished, and there is now a whole bunch of Barracudas coming out from Supreme AJ. Barracudas very annoying to deal with. Though the solution that Banan seems to be going for is just a whole bunch of T2 torpedo launchers. I honestly think that maybe some some harms would maybe be the better solution, partially because they will just deny a larger area and are also more annoying to deal with due to being submerged. Though I guess they're also a lot more expensive. And in the end I am much lower rated than Bananas, so they will know what they are doing. Now a massive effort going on over this airbase. The strat bombers have moved in, they are taking out some stuff. I think this was a nuke launcher they completely missed. Didn't fire, so wasn't too important in the end. Or didn't get a chance to fire. But with this massive air going on, Supreme AJ is throwing up the Seraphim T3AA, which is really good at just dealing with this stuff. It isn't in the form of SAMs, it's just some normal weapons, I think. Might even be flak. I'm always confused about that. But it was not enough, as most of the T3 power has now been taken out by the strat bombers. And 3 more will get another pass. This one will definitely go down. And luckily the last T3 Pedron right here did not take enough damage to die. So there's still some T3 power, but T3 air production for Supreme AJ has been completely crippled, even though they technically still have their HQ. Monkey is now pushing in. 21 units killed with nearly 10k mass killed. And I think this might be going after the ACU. I don't think ACU will be able to overcharge this, especially now that Supreme AJ's power has been crippled. They don't have nearly as much regen and nearly as much power production, and they lost a lot of their of their E-storage. So I expect that Monkey to be a lot more threatening, partially also due to having a much higher HP pool this time. And Super Major is trying to move out of the water, I think. Trying to reclaim the monkey. The monkey is trying to move into the water, I think, to get his torps off. Though I suspect the water isn't deep enough to actually get the torp launcher submerged. Honestly, I can never remember where they are, the Monkey Lord. I think they are also where the missiles are coming from for the AA, but yeah, not too sure. All the ASF for Fletcher accidentally landed, though there was nothing to worry about. But never mind, there was something to worry about. A whole bunch of Suicides just taking out all these battleships down here. And the monkey just moving on now, taking out a lot of stuff, I guess. A lot more, currently at 2 levels of veterancy and 16k HP. But moving into this, where we have 5 T3 factories and a whole bunch of spam, including a shit ton of flag which cannot fight back. So primary target should probably be the bricks, as they are the unit that can fight back. But all this flag will probably just be a easy way to farm more veterancy. And yeah, that's just a lot of mass killed now gained. The Monkey Lord is up to 3 stars of veterancy, or I'm not really sure what the Cypern symbol is. Maybe an eagle? I don't know. But 3 ranks of veterancy definitely. And getting a lot more just from all the spam. And back up to 17k HP. And successfully taking out all of these factories. And 4 ranks of veterancy now. The SU for Scream AJ is moving out of the water. I think they realized their mistake and tried to move back again, but realized that they could not do that in time. They get 1 overcharge off, but it's not enough to kill the Monkey Lord, and the SU does go down in the end. The Monkey Lord now with a whopping 53,000 mass killed. That definitely paid for itself. But with that, I think the writing for this game is on the wall, or this game is pretty much decided. Another push from Wagner's coming on to shore here, though there is a whole bunch of obsidians now already lying in wait that are just completely crushing those. So I don't think that will do too much. Meantime, Monkey Lord is continuing to push up, and with that, Northern team will have a lot less map control than their mirror counterparts. Or than their Southern counterparts, I guess. That monkey now at over 60k mass killed. Still climbing, still getting more maxes, I think. Yep. Not T3 max. I think this T3 max will also go down. Yes. 70k mass killed, that's just getting insane. But let's look at mass income. We're looking at 1400 mass income against 800. And to ensure that the game is definitely over, something I completely missed is that Banan was building a Scathless. The Cypern T3 Rapid Fire Mobile Artillery. Not T3, T4, or Experimental Rapid Fire Mobile Artillery. And yes, I am going to point out that it's mobile, even though no one actually used its mobile features because it has a range that makes it completely irrelevant. But technically you can still move it. And I had a singular game where that was actually useful. It does allow you to dodge mass nukes or strat snipes and stuff like that. Or tele snipes. Which I guess isn't really that important that many times. But Monkey Lord now at over 100k mass killed. These are now moving in as well. Just pouring in some general damage into everything beneath it, as the donut does. And Scathless continuing to fire. Let's see where that shit lands. Probably right here, yep. And there are some shields, though nowhere near enough to defend against the Scathers. Well, never mind. I guess the base is focused on a tight enough area that those shields are enough with the spread of the Scathers. Or at least mostly enough. But continuing to move on. Monkey Lord back up at into the yellow at 20k HP almost. And massive use of top bombers now in the middle to deal with the massive counter naval push that has been going on. That I didn't really point out until now. But yeah, large amounts of Navy now pushing back right in the middle. With a whole bunch of Tempests, three to be exact, and a shit ton of Sub-Hunters. Just being completely devastating right there with, well, the battleships for Comrade Benno are about to go down. But there's not too much to deal with those Sub-Hunters, so those will definitely get quite a bit of value. As that amount of torpedoes is really hard to deal with. On the other hand, those Sub-Hunters will not be able to deal any major economic damage except for these two maxes which are submerged. And I guess this max. And thus, unlike the Scathers that is just tearing down the base of Comrade Banner, it won't be effective, and there goes a control K out from Comrade Banner, and with that, Southern Team wins. Right, I hope you enjoyed this cast. This was streamed live on Twitch, link to that will be down in the description as always. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, or if you have any feedback, give a comment. Yeah, there will be more casts like this in the future, so if you want to be notified and like what you're seeing, you can always subscribe, it is free. And yeah, hope to see you again in a future cast, or in a stream on Twitch, and till then, bye!